Rome didn't fall to barbarians. It fell to a debt system run by moneylenders that even Julius Caesar couldn't kill. The founding of Rome, from wolves to republic. According to legend, it all begins in 753 BC. Twin brothers Romulus and Remus are abandoned by the river Tiber, rescued and suckled by a she-wolf, then raised by a shepherd. When they grow up, they decide to found a city. A fight breaks out over where and how. Romulus kills Remus and gives his own name to the new city, Rome. For the next 2 centuries, Rome is a kingdom. 7 kings rule, including Etruscan rulers who build roads, temples, and public buildings. The last one is Tarquin the Proud, arrogant, ruthless, and hated. In 509 BC, after a scandal and uprising, Tarquin is expelled. The monarchy is abolished. Rome becomes something new. A republic ruled not by kings but by the Senate and the Roman people. SBQR, pagan gods and the first Christians. Early Rome is spiritually pagan. The city is packed with temples, priests, sacrifices, Jupiter, Juno, Mars, Venus, household gods, and the sacred fire of Vesta burning in the Forum. Religion is a contract with many gods. You sacrifice, you pray. They give victory, harvests, and peace. Centuries later, in the 1st century AD, tiny groups of Christians appear inside this pagan world, first in the eastern provinces, then quietly in Rome itself. They meet in houses and catacombs, refuse to worship the emperor as a god, and preach one God above all states and all idols. At first, they are a persecuted minority with almost no power over money or politics. But the clash between pagan elites, emerging Christian communities, and the empire's broken money system will become crucial when the church starts to accumulate land and gold. Honest money, the Copper Age of the Republic. In this early republic, money is primitive but honest. First, the cow is the main store of wealth. Trade is mostly barter. Then, irregular pieces of copper and bronze appear as rude, rough metal. Every trade means, weigh the metal, agree the value. As trade grows, the state steps in. The Roman treasury issues heavy bronze bars, signatum, about 1/6 kilos each, stamped with images, a cow, an eagle, an elephant. These bars are valuable not just for the bronze, but because the state guarantees them. Later, they're replaced by thick, round bronze coins, grave, heavy money. This is one of the earliest successful fiat systems. Money backed by law and state authority, closely controlled with no runaway inflation. Land expands. Population grows. Debt bondage, nexum, is abolished in 326 BC. Rome becomes richer without destroying its middle class. For centuries, money serves the republic. Then comes the Silver Age and the rise of usury. In 267 BC, the patrician elite win a new privilege, the right to mint silver. Silver coins, first drachmas borrowed from the Greeks, then denarii, quinarii, and sestertii, start circulating. At the temple of Juno Moneta, a patrician brings in a sack of silver coins. By simply stamping a new value on them, he multiplies their worth 5-fold. No new silver, no new real wealth, just a different number. The profit, seigniorage, goes into private pockets. Money is no longer just a public tool. It's now a private weapon. Rome has few silver mines, so it expands its armies, conquering territories mainly to secure metal. Peasant farmers are drafted into endless wars. Their fields decay. Their land is lost to debt. Huge estates, latifundia, rise, worked by slaves. Grain has to be imported from North Africa. Society fragments. Allies without citizenship revolt in the social war. Piracy and banditry explode. Violence normalizes. This is what happens when a society becomes fully monetarized and money becomes the highest god. Jewish moneylenders, scapegoats or silent kings of credit. Around 161 BC, the first recorded Jews arrive in Rome, men like Yehuda and Maccabee. They settle mostly as craftsmen, peddlers, shopkeepers. They live in separate quarters, governed by their own laws, often exempt from military service. But as Rome's money system mutates into pure usury, a new role becomes crucial: the professional moneylender. Some Jewish communities in Rome build dense networks of credit. Family and religious ties stretch across the Mediterranean, from Judea to Alexandria to Rome. That gives certain Jewish lenders a huge advantage. They can move money and information faster than almost anyone else. Need to send funds to a province. Need cash to bribe an official or finance a shipment. You go to the people who can reach 3 continents with one message. The moneylenders tied into Jewish networks. Roman writers start accusing them of charging brutal interest rates, of trapping small traders and peasants in endless debt, of buying up land and property when borrowers default. Whenever a scandal erupts, tax farmers stealing provincial money, temple funds disappearing, soldiers cheated out of pay, the same names come up. Foreign financiers, often Jewish, working with Roman elites. The state reacts, but weakly. In 139 BC, Praetor Hispanus expels Jews for corrupting Roman morals. In 19 AD, Emperor Tiberius orders 4,000 Jews deported after a fraud that targets a noblewoman's fortune. Yet every time many return, the credit networks rebuild, debtors remain trapped. Here's the important thing: Roman aristocrats are just as deep in usury, but Jewish moneylenders become the public face of it, the people ordinary Romans can see and blame. By the late Republic, in the eyes of many citizens, Jewish lender and usurer become almost the same word. They are not the only players in Rome's credit system, but they are the ones the angry crowd talks about in the streets. Julius Caesar vs. the credit system. Into this boiling mess steps Julius Caesar. Born in 100 BC into an aristocratic family, he starts as a lawyer, then becomes one of history's greatest generals. He conquers Gaul, defeats Pompey at Pharsalus. By 48 BC, he is the undisputed leader of Rome. When he returns to Italy in 45 BC, he sees the true cost of usury. The streets are packed with the homeless, driven off their land by debt and foreclosure. 300,000 people must be fed every day from the public granary. Usury is flourishing. Some lenders, powerful Roman families and foreign moneylenders, Jews among them, charge interest rates up to 48% per year. Caesar understands something radical. Money is a national instrument created by law. It must serve the people, not be hoarded and weaponized by a few. So he goes to war with the financial system. He reduces state debts by 25%. He removes control of the mint from patrician usurers and hands it to the government. He floods the economy with cheaper metal coins. He caps interest at 1% per month. He bans interest on unpaid interest. No more endless compound debt. He decrees that total interest can never exceed the original loan. He abolishes slavery as a way to settle debt. He forces aristocrats to use their capital productively instead of hoarding it. These reforms hit every major usurer in Rome, Roman, foreign, Jewish. The entire moneylending class bleeds. 4 years later, on the Ides of March, 44 BC, Caesar walks into the Senate unarmed. 60 conspirators surround him. He is stabbed 23 times. Officially, they claim they killed a tyrant, but economically, they killed the one man who dared to break the grip of usury on Rome, from republic to empire. And to gold after Caesar's death, the republic tears itself apart in civil wars. Out of the blood and chaos rises Octavian, soon to be Augustus. In 27 BC, he takes power as the first emperor. The Roman Republic is dead in all but name. The empire is born. With it comes a fatal economic decision: the adoption of the gold standard. The gold aureus becomes the primary coin, along with silver denarii and copper pieces. Gold is scarce in Europe. Most flows from the east, drawn by trade, tribute, and religious payments. As gold drains away, the money supply inside the empire shrinks. Deflation hits. Trade slows. Ordinary people starve for lack of circulating money. even though land and goods still exist. Counterfeiting gold coins is punished by death. Mint officials who cheat are burned. Money changers who don't report fakes are flogged, enslaved, exiled. Fear replaces trust, but scarcity remains. The church hoarded gold and the Dark Ages. In 313 AD, Christianity is tolerated. By 380 AD, it is the state religion. The emperor becomes both ruler and high priest. A tithe is imposed. 1/10 of all income flows to the church. Over time, the church accumulates between 1/3 and 1/2 of all land, plus enormous hoards of gold. But instead of reinvesting this wealth into roads, schools, hospitals, industry, much of it sits behind thick walls in Constantinople and in the Vatican fortress in Rome. Money exists, but it doesn't move. The rest of society withers. A tiny elite and the church control almost everything. The middle class is annihilated. Slaves outnumber citizens by as much as 5-1. When Goths and Vandals finally invade, they do not destroy a healthy empire. They topple a hollow shell. In 476 AD, the Western Empire falls. Europe plunges into the Dark Ages. Trade collapses. Large ships disappear. Even cement making is forgotten. The total metal money supply shrinks from an estimated 18 billion in value to just 200 million. The economic collapse came before the political collapse. The lesson Rome died to teach. Underneath all the battles and emperors, one pattern repeats: money treated as a scarce commodity, money controlled by private interests, money lent at interest to a population that can never fully escape debt. Jewish moneylenders were one visible part of that system. Roman elites were another. Together, they built a machine that bled the empire dry. No society can survive a false economic system forever. Rome didn't just fall to barbarians. It fell because its money system was captured by elites, distorted by usury, and drained by hoarding. For any civilization to function and prosper, its means of exchange must be issued free of debt and interest, by lawful public authority, for the benefit of the people, not for the profit of a tiny class. Rome forgot that, and it paid with an empire. Now look at our world. Centralized money, massive debt, wealth concentrated at the top, and a shrinking middle class. Are we repeating Rome's mistake? Tell me in the comments. Is money today a public tool or a private weapon? If you want more hidden stories about how money, power, and belief shape our world, hit like and subscribe.